Coming right up, another fun Varsity Sports Show.
In 2019, the JV Sports Show podcast began with the idea of spotlighting young people in our community. In time, that podcast evolved into radio, television, and live stream, and through that evolution, new ideas have enhanced delivery, giving a stage to students both in front of and behind the microphone in Arizona and beyond. Thank you for supporting the Varsity Sports Show, now the Varsity Media Foundation, a 501c3 educational organization. The Varsity Sports Show is once again proud to partner with Grand Canyon University Club Sports in 2023 and 24. Join us in our coverage of GCU Club Sports on Saturday's Varsity Sports Show and the rest of the week. We'll cover hockey, soccer, baseball, rugby, lacrosse, and more. The Lopes are back on the Varsity Sports Show.
Hi, kids. This is DJ Soulman from the Funk Junkies, and you're listening to the Varsity Sports Show with my man Vince Delicio. And what's your last name?
It's Delicio.
Okay, that's right. That's what I thought. Yeah, right.
AM 1060 KDUS Tempe, Phoenix, and KSLX HD2 Scottsdale, Phoenix.
This program is paid for by the Varsity Media Foundation, a 501c3 nonprofit educational organization, and its partners.
You're listening to the Varsity Sports Show, home of Arizona's youth, high school, college sports, and you, empowering education and enabling dreams right here on KDUS AM 1060 in Arizona. And now, welcome to the Varsity Sports Show.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Varsity Sports Radio Show. I want to thank you all for joining us on this beautiful Saturday morning. And if you haven't noticed already, this is not Vince D'Alicio speaking. My name is Austin Hepola, a part of the Varsity Sports Summer Intern team, filling in for Vince as he is out of town for a wedding. Hope he has a good time up there. And yeah, I apparently have some big shoes to fill. But with that being said, I'm not here alone today. I'm here co-hosted by another Varsity Sports Summer Team member, Connor Ackerley, Corona del Sol quarterback. Connor, how you doing today, man?
Pretty good. How about you?
Hi, I'm doing amazing, man. It's gonna be a fun show. We're filling in for Vince. We got some pretty big shoes to fill. Vince has been running the show for quite some time now, so it's gonna be a good show, man. We got a lot of things planned here today. A couple interviews planned here in the next 30 minutes. We got the Kellis coach Ben Cullis coming on, and yeah, man, I'm just excited. What have you been up to, Connor? I know that you were out in Florida just recently.
Yeah, I just went to Florida for a week and then came back for 2 days and then went down to Blue Ridge High School for 4 days with my football team for football camp. But yeah, in Florida, I was at Miami football camp and then came back and then obviously down to Blue Ridge. So it's been a busy 2 weeks for me.
Yeah, Connor out here living in Florida for a little bit. Vince is out in Connecticut. Everyone's just everywhere here this summer. But for Varsity Sports, we're here every Saturday morning. We're here to cater to you guys here in Arizona, and we're gonna give you guys a good show. And also we also have the big man of the week, Isaiah Packer, coming in at 9 a.m. We have Brittany Boyer here coming in at 8:45 as well. Talk about some high school football, and then to end off, we got at 9:30 a.m. we have Jeremy Hathcock coming in as well. So we got a lot of stuff lined up for you guys, and it's gonna be a good time, man. I wanted to ask you, Connor, what are these camps really like? I mean, I'm assuming they're 7-on-7, right? And how intense really are they?
Yeah, so it's a little bit of 7-on-7 and then a little bit of skills showcase. They're pretty intense. It's a lot of people that you don't know, especially when I'm in Miami. It's all the way across the country, so it's a lot of people that I didn't know. And you just go there with the expectation to compete. And there's some aspect of it where it's you get to meet new people and maybe meet a new friend or something like that. But most of the time, it's I'm trying to go get seen by a coach, and I'm going to compete with these other people. Yeah,
no doubt. It's all about making these connections, especially with a young quarterback like yourself. You're supposed to make a name for yourself out there, and you got your senior year coming up. How do you feel about your senior year? I mean, you got 1 year left, man. It's almost over high school, man.
Yeah, it should be a fun year for us. this will be my third year starting on varsity, so the experience is there. The nerves are probably going to be down a little bit more this year, so I think it's going to be an exciting year. I'm going to soak it all in.
For sure, and now you got this summer internship here with Varsity Sports. I mean, how hard is it juggling this with your camps and all this, and looking forward to the season? Does it help that that you're on the field as a quarterback? You're used to that pressure.
Yeah, I mean it's a lot of work to juggle this, but playing football and doing this and talking about sports are two things that I like. I love to do, so that makes it a little bit easier every time I have to I do something for the Varsity Sports Show, or I have to go do a lift. Like this week I was at Blue Ridge and I had to do my interview, so it makes it easier that I love to do what I'm doing right now.
Yeah, no doubt. That's one thing we do have in common. We love to talk about sports here at Varsity, and it's gonna be. We got a show for you guys. These next 2 weeks, me and Connor will be in studio here in Phoenix, Arizona. Lovely Phoenix. I mean, the weather is just beautiful right now at 8 in the morning here. And yeah, today I'll be hosting mainly. Connor will be here to help me out. Next week, Connor will be hosting. I will be there to help him out. And we're gonna hold down the fort. We're gonna have a lot of good things to talk about here. And yeah, I think coming up we have a interview with Brooke, another one of our varsity summer interns, Brooke Early. She's gonna interview Ellie Tuck. And then we have Kelsey coming on. We have Kenji. We have Brendan. All of our summer interns are going to be here, and you guys are going to hear from them. And they have a lot of great things to talk about. And Connor, I wanted to ask you as well. What your parents? They've been in the world of journalism, right? I mean, yeah. They've seen this world. How much has that helped you? How much advice have they given you heading into? Is this your first time, or not first time, I should say? But have you done radio before Varsity Sports, or no?
No, actually, I mean, the only other radio experience I had was during track season when I did a segment with Vince when they were on site at the Aztec Invite. So, yeah, this has been my first time. Obviously, my mom doing what she's done for like 25 years now. That helps a lot. It helps a little bit to have that person to give me advice. And, she's probably listening right now. She'll probably text me after the show ends and give me some pointers. So, yeah, it helps.
Shout out to Connor's mom, and I could definitely use some pointers as well. I mean, this is, we're both pretty new to this radio world, and it's a very great experience. I mean, being an ASU student myself, Cronkite School, student, I do a lot of writing, do a lot of videography, but radio, I mean, you can't really practice for this. You kind of just jump right in with the Sharks, and hopefully, someone listens, and it's going to be fun, man. So, yeah, coming up, also, we do have Brendan has an interview with Richard Steins, Fox 10 sports anchor. That should be very interesting. We also have, Brooke talking to Jessica Castles. We have Connor. Connor, you're talking about Joey Tatiano here for the MLB. What's really going on with the MLB? I mean, there's a lot of news going on about, Oh, and you know what? We'll talk about the MLB here later in the show. But right now, we do have Vince on the line here, live from Connecticut. Vince, how are you doing today, man?
Hey, good morning, you guys. How's it going?
Doing good. How are you doing?
I'm okay. Hey, you guys are selling yourself short. You are definitely more than qualified to handle the ship the next couple of weeks. Really excited, for you, for the fact that you're out there, you're putting it out there, and we're having a lot of fun with it, particularly this summer. And I promised you guys that you would have a platform, that you would definitely be doing some work. You guys are getting the work done, so I'm really proud of you both, Austin and Connor. Nice job. So I'm out in Stamford, Connecticut. Came out here for a wedding. We're on our way. My family and I are heading to Battery Park in Lower Manhattan. We're going to check out. There's a ferry we're going to take a ride on. Then we're going to walk through the financial district, stop by the World Trade Center site, and check out all of New York today. Having a good time. It's a family vacation of sorts. We were in town for a cousin's wedding. Josh Esses and Lauren Applebaum, congratulations. And there was a great time last night out here. And now we're going to spend the next couple of days in New York. Hey, we're not taking vacations here at the Varsity Sports Show. We are working every week, delivering the news, delivering all the great things going on in the world of anything, really, that's going on that's positive. That's what we're all about, and providing a platform and making sure you guys get your stuff done, get your work done, and excited for you both. You guys are going to do a great job, as you already are.
Congratulations to Josh and Lauren. Vince, I gotta ask, if you're at this wedding, I'm assuming you're wearing, some sort of a suit and tie. Are you repping the Varsity Sports shirt under the suit? You gotta let us know.
Always, like Clark Kent. I got to keep that thing ready to go. My wife and I were on the dance floor last night cutting it up, and we had a lot of fun. I can't tell you that it looked pretty, but it was, we were getting it done. So it was a lot of fun.
No, without a doubt. You got to bring us something back from Connecticut. I don't know what they have in Connecticut. I don't know much about the state, but you got to bring us back something. Some
Not a
sort of
lot.
souvenir.
Yeah. We'll figure it out. I'll make my way through. We'll be in Lower Manhattan today in Times Square, and there's a legend in Times Square, a guy with a guitar called the Half Naked Cowboy. So we'll see if we get a picture with him, preferably with some clothes on. So we'll see if we get that done.
Yes,
anyway.
Yes, we keep it PG here on Varsity Sports, of course.
That's right. That's right. You guys will do a great job. I'm going to turn it back over to the both of you, and have a great weekend, everyone. Keep listening, and great show lined up ahead. You guys are doing great.
Of course. Thank you, Vince. You have a good time.
All right.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, that was Vince D'Alicio, the main host of Varsity Shorts. I would say the godfather of Varsity Sports. We are here filling in for him this week and next week, actually. So, yeah, it's going to be an amazing show. We got a few minutes here for our next segment. Connor, what's on your mind heading into this show?
Yeah, I mean, you were bringing up baseball before Vince got on, and obviously D-backs are still winning games, and so I would love to talk about the D-backs, and then later in the show, like you said, we're going to have Coach Hathcock on from Blue Ridge, where Corona del Sol just went to football camp there for a few days, and I just think it's going to be a great show. I think we got a lot of good contact. Isaiah Packer, Big Man of the Week, that'll be a good little feature. So yeah, it should be a good show.
I got to ask, you being a quarterback, when you're talking to all these coaches and sometimes players as well, are you taking some of this information in and using that towards, their possible games this season?
I haven't had to interview anyone yet that I play until we're going to interview Isaiah Packer. So maybe I'll ask him for some playbook tips or something. But yeah, it might be weird. I try to keep it non-biased around here,
as we should.
Yeah,
right.
when we're interviewing people. So when I was on the Varsity Sports Show on the radio show last time, we interviewed the Camelback head coach, and I trained with two quarterbacks that went to Camelback. So it's just it's more so like kind of like a cool experience to now I'm interviewing these people that I've worked with for 5 or 6 years now.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, it's a great experience interviewing these coaches. I've gotten to know a lot of coaches in the high school football world and basketball as well. And we got Brooke over here, interviewing a lot of athletes from U of A. Brendan's over here talking about the Suns. We got Kenji from Southern California. Kelsey's in Texas. I mean, we're a wide variety of characters here at Varsity Sports, which I think is very, very cool. A lot of diverse topics to talk about. Not just Arizona, even though we are mainly Arizona-based, but we do have a lot of things to talk about. And, we do have a lot of things to talk about with Isaiah. He's not coming on until the next hour, but Desert Vista has a lot of turnover. They have their fourth coach in their fourth season, I believe. I mean, it's just crazy. Have you had a coaching change at Corona del Sol? I don't.
Yeah, between my sophomore and my junior year, we went from Coach Bechtold to Coach Barrow.
How is that a major difference in culture and all that? How was that like?
Yeah, it definitely makes a difference. I mean, for me as a quarterback, the biggest difference was just the change in offenses. I mean, it was two pretty much completely different offenses. But yeah, I mean, every coach has different expectations for their team. Every coach has different expectations for their season and what they want to accomplish over the season. And I think that's kind of like it's a change. And then once you get into it, it's like, okay, I can do this, forever. So.
Yeah, no doubt. It's going to be interesting. I can't wait to talk to Isaiah about that because I interviewed him last year and I talked about their current head coach at that time, Nate Gill, who was their third coach in 3 years, and now they have a new coach in their fourth season. So it should be interesting. And coming up after this break, we have an interview with Brooke Early and Ellie Tuck, and it's going to be an interesting interview. That's U of A down there in Tucson. It should be very interesting interview. And right after that, we got Kelsey talking about Josh Christopher from the Rockets. And that is what we have coming up. Stay tuned here on Varsity Sports Radio Show. Go Varsity.
HD Radio is here for KDUS AM 1060. Check out your favorite shows and games on 100.7 KSLX HD2.
Hi, this is Kelsey Dickerson, and I start my Saturday mornings the right way, listening to Vince and the Varsity Crew on the Varsity Sports Show from 9 to 10 a.m. on AM 1060 KDUS, Arizona's home for youth, high school, college, and you.
Training Better Athletes was founded by renowned football coach Ron Sowers with the philosophy of training well-rounded young people in mind and body. TBA is the go-to for middle schoolers through the pros. Coach Sowers has worked with all sports but specializes in football offensive and defensive line skills training. Whether it's one-on-one or group training, reach out to Coach Sowers at trainingbetterAthletes.com or call him at 602-435-9064. You can't cheat the grind. Hey, local businesses, join the Varsity Sports Show and promote your business on our weekly radio show and game live streams. We have several options to promote your business affordably and reach our incredible audience. Call, text, or email us anytime if you'd like more information on joining our team. The Varsity Sports Show will work hard to promote your business through our audio and video platforms while also promoting all of our young people. 480-779-9437 or email us at varsitysportshow.com. The Varsity Sports Show and Angry Crab Shack Tempe are proud to bring you the Varsity Sports Show Big Man of the Week. Join us every Saturday morning through August as we spotlight an offensive or defensive lineman that your coaches nominate. We will feature photos or video highlights on our social media and have your lineman join us live on Saturday morning's Varsity Sports Radio Show between 8 and 10 a.m. Coaches, reach out on Instagram or Twitter with your nomination. Brought to you by Angry Crab Shack Tempe and the Varsity Sports Show, AM 1060, KDUS, Arizona.
Ready to bring KDUS AM 1060 into your home with Alexa?
Hi, I'm Alexa.
Download the KDUS AM 1060 skill and enable. Then say, Alexa, open KDUS AM 1060.
This is where I start my day.
Welcome to the Varsity Sports Show. My name is Brooke Early, here with University of Arizona triathlete Ellie Tuck. Ellie, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm great. Ellie, this year you're on the track and field team throwing, and now you're on the tri team. What changed and why'd you move sports?
It was just like a good opportunity and experience to join the triathlon team. Like nothing bad happened. Like the transition was smooth. Like everyone was really supportive of it. I grew up swimming. I grew up running. Like throwing was the second option, like in track and field, what I would do. So it kind of just worked out that I would get to do two things like I grew up doing, and then learning how to bike obviously is like a key component.
No, agreed. I feel like when you're trying to juggle what you should do, the one thing you came back to was the fact that you just love swimming and running. So that is super cool.
Mm-hmm.
So next year is going to be the first year University of Arizona has women's triathlon. How does it feel to be one of the firsts?
Pretty cool. Like I feel like our like team this year will always be remembered as the first ones to do it, and whatever happens, but we'll go down in history as the first triathlon team.
Yeah, I think that's the coolest thing you could ever have and put your name into. So what expectations do you have this year?
Just to do my best. Like it is a new sport, so obviously like there are going to be some challenges. A lot of people in triathlon like grew up doing this, so obviously experience like poses a challenge, but also like working with all these amazing people will hopefully push me and I'll push them and just see what we can accomplish.
Agreed. Well, thank you for coming on here. My name's Brooke Early, here with Arizona triathlete Ellie Tuck. Thank you for listening and have a great weekend.
Welcome back to Varsity Sports Show. That was a great interview done by Brooke Early and Ellie Tuck. Connor, I got to ask, do you do a lot of running? I mean, or are you mainly just in the weight room?
Yeah, I mean, it's part of our summer program. We have a speed program to obviously help us get faster. So, yeah, we run 4 times a week with our lifting program. So
that's incredible. I think the most running I do is maybe to my refrigerator. So, that's a very, very insightful interview on, what it's like being a triathlete. And Connor, also, I mean, are you on the field? Like, do you feel like your game speed is matching up with the other athletes on there? I mean, do you feel like you're actually that running training is actually paying off?
Yeah, that was something that I kind of emphasized going into this off season for my junior and my senior year, and really for my sophomore and my junior year as well. But more so this year because I myself want to be able to make myself a weapon in the run game, and the only way I can do that is by getting faster. So I can definitely feel it now going into camp. We did some 11-on-11 stuff for the first time all summer, and I can definitely feel a difference, and it's good to see kind of the work is starting to pay off a little bit.
No doubt. Are you watching any like Lamar Jackson highlights to get inspired or anything? Or
yeah. Sometimes you gotta do what you gotta do. You gotta take some moves from them.
For sure, you got to bust out that spin move at least one time this year, man. It's gonna be
Yeah.
exciting. And next up we got Kelsey coming to interview Josh Chris. Or I don't think it's an interview, but she's gonna talk about the Houston Rockets. She's based in Houston, so that should be very interesting. And then coming up at 8:30, we do have Raymond Kellis head coach Ben Cullis. He was just hired as coach a few years ago, and now they're remodeling their weight room. They're doing a lot of change over there in Kellis, which is good. For those who don't know, I am a Kellis alumni, and the football team wasn't all that inspiring when I was there. Unfortunately, my senior year they went 0-10. So hopefully, Coach Cullis can change that program around and do it for the better, man. It's gonna be very interesting. Connor, what was your school's record last year, and what was your thoughts about last year?
Yeah, so we went 8-2 last year. We played our first home playoff game, and I think it was since like 2011 or something like that.
Wow.
So obviously you strive to go deeper into the playoffs than we did. We ended up losing in the first round, so it doesn't mean much to make the playoffs if you don't win a game in the playoffs. But yeah, I thought last year was really good. It was our first year under a new coach. Later in the year, the offense was really clicking, the defense was really clicking. We had injuries in the second half of the season. Injuries are going to happen, but we had a lot of injuries, and it just sucks to have that. And that's kind of something that we also emphasize coming into the offseason is like preventative movements that can help prevent injuries. So, it was a good first year, and we're going to look to build off of that going into the second year.
Yeah, for sure. This is coming from a guy who has never, even pulled a muscle or anything. But have you been through a lot of injuries or any at all? And what is it like going through an injury?
So I sprained my ankle in the 8th game of the year last year. And that was really like my first major injury other than like a broken finger or something like that. So yeah, the biggest thing for me with the injury was not even the pain level. It was just like I missed games 9 and 10 and came back for playoffs. But like watching games 9 and 10 from the sideline, it kind of hurts you more than the actual injury does to have to watch your team and watch your brothers go out there and not be able to help them out and help them win a ball game.
Yeah, that mental aspect is what a lot of athletes talk about when dealing with an injury. Were you doing anything specific to kind of get over that mental hurdle at all, or is just kind of a I can't wait to get back on the field type of thing?
Yeah, just doing my physical therapy, working my way back. It wasn't like a major ankle sprain or anything. It was like a grade 1 ankle sprain. So, I did everything I can to come back. I came back a week earlier than like I was originally told that I could, but then I got cleared 3 weeks after my injury. So, the only way to get over that mental hurdle really is to just keep working and keep trying to get healthier.
Yeah, no doubt. It's going to be very interesting. Hopefully you guys stay healthy this year. Hopefully everyone stays healthy. You never want to see an athlete go down with an injury, especially in the high school level when they're trying to compete and hopefully get that college scholarship. So, sending my blessings out to all the college or high school athletes out there. Coming up also later at 9:30, we have Jeremy Hathcock, Coach Hathcock. Connor, what should we be looking forward to in that interview with Coach Hathcock?
So like we said, Corona del Sol, we just went up to Blue Ridge as a team for our football camp. So I'm looking forward to asking him kind of how that came about. How it's a lot of work. They had like 6 or 7 teams up there. They had 3 gyms there at Blue Ridge, so they had 6 or 7 teams staying in 3 different gyms. So I'm interested to see how. What made you want to host 6 or 7 teams? Because that's a tall order to say the least. And then just he went from Desert Ridge, was competing for state championships. Now he's at Blue Ridge. He's bringing what he knows, what he learned, and what he taught at Desert Ridge to Blue Ridge. So coach with a lot of experience coaching at a 3A level. It'll be interesting to talk to him and ask him what his perspective on that is.
Yeah, it should be very interesting. And then coming up around 9:50, hopefully we have Brendan Sodell coming on to join us in our closing moments. So he's going to have a topic to talk about, hopefully. And right before that, I'm going to recap. I have a pre-recorded segment recapping the Section 7 men's tournament that I was at last week. And, I'll get more into that in detail a little later, but I just wanted to throw up the mention that at that tournament, there were a lot of celebrities. There were a lot of big names watching maybe their kids or just, scouting out the high school talent. But, I met Kennedy Jet Smith and Trevor Ariza even. I mean, there's a lot of big names. Yeah, I don't know if have you ever met any, big sports personality before? Or?
Being around my mom, obviously. So, I've met, I meet some D-backs players. I meet the people she works with, Mark Grace, Todd Walsh, Bertram Berry, all those guys that she works with in Cardinals and D-backs. I've met them, and it's good. It honestly is a good experience to meet, meeting Kenny the Jet Smith, getting to talk to a guy like that. It's probably a good experience and can help you with Varsity Sports Show.
Yeah, it was a surreal experience. I mean, the size of these guys, they're just absolutely towering over me. I'm like 5'7", so I mean, pretty much anybody towers over me. But coming up after the break, we have Kelsey talking about the Houston Rockets. And then after the break, after the 8:30 break, we have Raymond S. Cullis head coach Ben Cullis here to join us to talk about what Cullis football is going to be like this year and, what kind of plans they have, heading into the year. It's going to be very interesting. And, we have Kenji coming on. We have Brittany Sawyer coming on. We have Brendan. It's going to be very, very packed. Bang, bang, bang segments coming back and back. And it's going to be very interesting. I can't wait. I really want to just pick Ben Cullis's brain, Coach Cullis for Raymond S. Cullis. It's really interesting to see how he came about. I believe he played at Dakota State for college, so he played a little collegiate football. And he's young. I don't even know if he's hit 30 years old yet. So he's very young in the game. He's gonna hopefully lead Cullis in the right direction and get these boys back to their winning ways. I believe before I was even there in high school, they were a little competitive. So. Hopefully he could turn their franchise around, their program around, I should say, and get them going. It's going to be very interesting. We have Kenji interviewing Kim Strassner. That should be very interesting. It's a lengthy interview, and it's gonna be good. I can't wait for it. Brandon, next segment.
Hi everyone, I'm Kelsey Reggett with the Varsity Sports Show. Today I'm discussing former Arizona State basketball star Josh Christopher. Former Arizona State star Josh Christopher is entering a make-or-break year with the Houston Rockets after the franchise selected Villanova's Cam Whitmore with the 20th pick in the 2023 NBA Draft. Christopher, who was a first-round pick himself in the 2021 NBA Draft, has struggled to find minutes through his first 2 years in the NBA. Christopher has flashed when given the opportunity, leading many fans to clamor for more playing time for the California native. The 6'5", Josh Christopher has essentially been too good to play in the G League, with career averages of 24 points, 6 assists, and 6 rebounds through 8 games for the Rio Grande Vipers, which is the Rockets' G League affiliate. For those just tuning in, I'm Kelsey Reggett with the Varsity Sports Show, discussing former Arizona State basketball star Josh Christopher. The Rockets' recent hire of Ume Udoka could be a blessing in disguise for Josh Christopher, as it could give him an opportunity for a fresh start with the Rockets' top shot caller on the court. The Rockets have Jalen Green, Kevin Porter Jr., newly drafted Amon Thompson, Ty Washington, Cam Whitmore, and Josh Christopher, not to mention any other potential veteran free agent sightings. Either way, the Rockets will need to give Christopher significant playing time, even if they intend to trade Christopher, as they could struggle to get a return of their liking since he hasn't been given much opportunity to show the rest of the league what he's capable of. Josh Christopher could be a legitimate contender as he possesses the ability to get to the rim in addition to his relentless effort and work ethic, which every team could use in the NBA. Houston Rockets fans will be tuned in to see what happens with the former Arizona State star, as many within the Rockets fan base have become fans of him despite his lack of playing time thus far. Thanks for listening. I'm Kelsey Reggett with the Varsity Sports Show. Have a wonderful weekend.
Need social information about KDUS AM 1060? Try KDUS1060.com, at KDUS AM 1060 on Twitter, and Facebook.com/KDUS AM 1060.
Hello, sports fans. This is Dick Stockton, and you are listening to Arizona's home of youth, high school, college, and you, the Varsity Sports Show on AM 1060, KDUS, Arizona.
The Angry Crab Shack in Tempe, with an experience so good it remains indescribable, with something for every seafood lover. Try one of their amazing custom seafood boils, sandwiches, appetizers, and salads. Angry Crab Shack Tempe is located east of I-10 on Warner Road, 480-674-3847. The Angry Crab Shack in Tempe. Come ready to eat.
What's up, everybody? My name is Austin Hepola, and I am a senior attending the Walter Cronkite School of Journalism at Arizona State University. This summer, you will get a hands-on experience from me right here on Varsity Sports Show. My goal is to showcase the amazing sports communities scattered throughout the entire valley. As an Arizona native myself, I plan to give these communities the proper light they deserve. I look forward to delivering the most authentic and genuine stories for you all these next few months. Until next time, take it easy.
Your caddy, Ray Adams, takes you beyond the 18th hole on Saturday mornings with Great American Golf from 6 to 7 a.m. on KDUS AM 1060.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Varsity Sports Show. My name is Austin Hepola, joined with Connor Ackerley, and we're also joined by Raymond S. Kellis head football coach Ben Cullis. Coach Cullis, how you doing today?
Doing good, Austin. How are you?
I'm doing great. How's it out there in South Dakota on the Greenway? How's your golfing going?
I'm looking at a lake from the 13th tee right now, and it's about 80 degrees. It's beautiful.
That is amazing. Thank you for joining us again. You're entering your third season as head coach for Raymond S. Kellis. I wanted to ask, what is the culture like at that school? What kind of culture have you established there so far in your tenure?
We're still building, for one thing. We put together two pretty successful seasons relative to the way things had been in the past, but we still got a lot of work to do. One thing I'm proud of is just how many kids we got coming out to play football. You know, our numbers have grown each year that I've been there. And I tell our kids all the time, you know, like, we want to be the best at getting better. You know, that's what our whole make the climb kind of mantra is about. It's about, you know, getting one step better at a time and not really worrying about the final destination as much as, like, let's just enjoy the moment here. Like, you know, let's get the best at this next workout that we're going to have. So I think our kids are bought into that. We got some really good leadership coming up with this senior class, and we got a ton of 2025s that are going to be on the field as juniors too. So, you know, the future is definitely bright. And I'm happy, with the growth so far through our two seasons.
Yeah, you guys are definitely building something very inspiring over there. And speaking of building, you guys rebuilt the weight room at Raymond S. Kellis. I just saw on your Twitter a few weeks ago. So
yeah.
What was that process like? What was the mindset in revamping the room there?
Well, first and foremost, I mean, we have an extremely supportive administration at Kellis, and anyone who's in the business knows nothing gets accomplished without people up at the top having your back and advocating for you as well. So that's where it starts. Our administration, you know, has okayed us spending some money and doing some different things. I mean, the reality is we kept a lot of the same major equipment, but we just gave it a facelift. So, you know, I call it like a revamp or a reinvestment. Just made it a little bit more functional. We got 12 racks in there now. We got a lot of space to do like accessory work. And it benefits not just football, it benefits all sports. So I know we're excited about that. We've put some record boards up for football. We got record boards up for strength and conditioning. We got some other things along the way too. You know, just trying to honor the past and give the kids something to look forward to in the future as well.
Hey, Coach, Connor Ackerley here. I just wanted to ask you, so last year you guys, you know, kind of had a rough start to the season and then ended with a 4-game win streak. So, you know, how will you guys take that momentum into next year, and how is that going to help kind of the younger guys buy into the program better?
Yeah, it was a 0-4 was a humbling start last year for sure. Lost a lot of close games that we felt like, we gave ourselves a chance, and I think we were either within one score or had the lead in like 3 of those 4 games in the fourth quarter. So it was close, but it's just kind of when you don't get that taste of that first win until week 5, that was tough. But I'm really proud of the way the kids rallied around it. And we finished strong, but the reality is it's a new year. It's a new season. We got a new group of kids. We're excited to play Independence High School week 1 because they're a program on the rise too. But we're definitely ready to roll with this group, and I think starting off the way we did, but finishing the way we did, I think it says a lot about this group and what they're capable of doing.
You guys have? Oh, go ahead, Connor.
So the 3 years prior to you being hired as the head coach were, 0-10, 1-9, and 0-8, and then the 2 years that you've been the head coach, you guys have gone 6-4 and 5-5. So, what have you noticed has changed from the time that you stepped on campus after they came off an 0-8 season to now, where you guys have had a winning record in the last 2 years?
Yeah, I don't think it's anything crazy. It's just kids buying into the process of getting better. Like I said, I think we do some things to incentivize kids working out and working hard in the weight room. And to me, I think that's where you build a culture, and that's where it starts. So if we can have high attendance percentages across the board in the weight room, I'm confident in our ability to build a program. And so that's the first place I went to, even when I was interviewing for the job. Just kind of tried doing my research, figuring out what does this program need. And we weren't as big, strong, or fast as these other teams that we were having to compete against. So that was a focus in year 1, and it's continued to be a focus through year 3. And now we got kids that have been lifting consistently in the same routine, going on 3 years now. So I think the biggest thing is just instilling belief. There wasn't a whole lot of belief that we could win. It was a surprise to win, and like week 1, I still remember it was like we won the Super Bowl when we won week 1. But I think, that attitude kind of shifts, when that shifts from hope to an expectation,
Yeah, no doubt. And, helping these kids get bigger and stronger, revamping the weight room is definitely a big contributor to that. And not only are you guys getting these kids bigger, but you're also getting them sharper. I see on your Twitter that you're having these Wednesday wisdom sessions. Can you explain to me and the viewers and the audience what these sessions are like?
Yeah, so Wednesday wisdom is my absolute favorite day of the week. We do it year round too. I try and get some kind of a guest speaker if I can. Sometimes it's a coach who does it, but it's a 15 to 30-minute little talk where we talk about things bigger than football, And so, we had Positive Coaching Alliance, a good friend of mine, Gary Streeter, came in, and he just talked about what it means to be a good teammate on the field, but also in life. And so it's just an opportunity for us to pour into these kids because, we all know that they're going to stop playing at some point in their life, and I'm not doing my job well if I can't stand by them 20 years down the road. It's not about the next 4 years. It's about the next 40. So it's just, it's one day a week we try and take that time to pour into them.
Yeah, no doubt. And I really think it's helping out those kids a lot, getting them in the room and learning about what leadership really is. That's a very, very important factor. Coach Cullis, I want to ask, what can we expect from MAS College football this fall heading into your 3rd year, and also maybe some players to look out for?
Yeah, we got a good schedule. Last year we got a good schedule as well. We're in a competitive region. I really think it's a toss-up. Last year PV got hot and ended up winning it, and so I think we're in a spot where we could compete for a region championship. But that's no knock against the other ones in our region. We got some tough teams, all kind of in a building phase as well. As far as players for next year, we're going to have a senior-led offensive line by Carson Hutchings and Jacob Johnson. Those are 2 all-region linemen that we got coming back, so we're excited about that. You've obviously, if you followed me on Twitter, you've probably seen Ronald Cody and Tristan Bacon are both Division I offerees from NAU. Ronald's going to play quarterback and some DB for us. And Tristan's going to be a linebacker and a slot receiver for us. So those are just a few names, but I could rattle off 30 right now. We got Caden Walker, who's another under-recruited kid. He's about 6'3", outside deep threat, phenomenal athlete. We're expecting big things out of him. And really just as a whole, like I said, we're going to have a lot of juniors on the field, so this junior class is definitely going to be something to look out for.
It's going to be a very interesting, exciting season, especially, Ronald Cody's a very bright kid. All the kids, Wednesday Wisdom's definitely helping them out, and it's going to be very exciting, man. I wish you all well, and I hope you guys have a great season. Coach Cullis, I want to thank you for your time. Hopefully, you get some good golf balls out there and have a good time out there in South Dakota. And again, thank you. This is Austin Epola and Connor Ackley here with Varsity Sports Radio Show. And Aaron, go ahead and play the next segment. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. My name is Kenji Ito from the Varsity Sports Show, providing Southern California sports and local stories. With me here today is the supervisor for parking cashiers for the Los Angeles Angels, Kim Strassner. How are you doing today, Kim?
I'm doing great. Thank you.
First, some people might not know what a supervisor for parking cashiers is. So can you briefly describe what your role is?
So when you come to the stadium, you pay to park, you're $20 or you have a pass. They're parking cashiers, which is how I started out 7 seasons ago. And now I supervise all the parking cashiers that come into the stadium. And on any given day, we can have anywhere from 45 to 50 cashiers.
Yeah, and that actually kind of jumps into my next question. Obviously you work for a professional baseball team, but what does a typical day look like on game day?
A typical day on game day is there's 2 supervisors, myself and someone else, and we usually get in at for a 6:30 p.m. game. We come in at noon, so it's a 8 or 9 hour day for us. And the first thing we do before the cashiers come in, we check our email because there's people that call out sick. We have to print out, it's what's called a VIP list, which has all the media, all the VIP guests, so that the cashiers have this list of people come in and say, hey, I'm in the so-and-so suite. We check that. We have to position the cashiers at a gate. So
and obviously you're more on the business side of kind of working for the team. So can you give us an inside scoop of what it is like to work for a professional team?
Where I work now inside, we're in what they call the tunnel underground, and that's where we're right by the players' clubhouse. So to be there every day and see what's going on behind the scenes is just, for me, it's such a cool experience. Players start to come in and then we get to see them, but there's 40 different departments. So there's so much going on before the game starts at 6:30, before that first pitch. This is my 7th season, and I have made some unbelievable close friendships with some of my cashiers.
And obviously you have worked your way up to the top. You have won Employee of the Year for the whole organization. So, but just more of a fun question, who are some of the nicest players on the team you have met in the past and currently? And do you have a story that you could share with us that you had an interaction with the player maybe?
If I see them, the people at the gate where they come in every day, they know one of our cashiers because he's at the same gate every day. So when they come in, sometimes he fist bumps them. They say, how you doing? Or he'll say, have a great game. And when I worked out there, I got to do the same thing. But now that I'm in the office, I'll see him coming down the tunnel to go to the clubhouse. Just a couple of weeks ago, for the first time, I was actually early to work, and I was waiting for someone to come and unlock our door. And Mike Trout was walking in, and he's usually in a zone, so I don't talk to him. But when he walked by me, he saw me and he smiled, and I said, "Good morning, Mike." And he said, "Good morning." And I was just telling people, that's so cool. Where do you work where you get to see probably one of the best players right now in Major League Baseball says good morning to you? And so it's a wonderful experience. If you love baseball or you love sports, there's nothing like being there.
Yeah, and I think you said it perfectly, But I would just like to say thank you so much for your time, Kim.
Oh, you're welcome.
You just heard from Kim Strassner, and from the Varsity Sports Show, I'm Kenji Ito.
Tune in weekdays to the Sports Zone with Bob Kemp from 9 to 10 a.m. on KDUS AM 1060, KDUS1060.com, and with the KDUS 1060 app.
Hi, this is the Director of Community Engagement for Hospice of the Valley, Lynn Sue Cooney, and you are just not cool if you are not listening to the Varsity Sports Show, the home of youth, high school, college, and you on AM 1060 KDUS, Arizona.
Hey, local businesses, join the Varsity Sports Show and promote your business on our weekly radio show and game live streams. We have several options to promote your business affordably and reach our incredible audience. Call, text, or email us anytime if you'd like more information on joining our team. The Varsity Sports Show will work hard to promote your business through our audio and video platforms while also promoting all of our young people. 480-779-9437 or email us at varsitysportshow.com. Coaches, the Varsity Sports Show wants to be part of your team in 2023. We have a proven track record of providing the most coverage of your teams with Thursday and Friday night football. We will spotlight your players with multi-camera game broadcasts, pre- and post-game interviews, and segments on our Saturday morning radio show. With over 100 games broadcast in 2022, we will be exceptional for your team. Call, text, or email 480-220-4629 or info@varsitysportshow.com.
What's up, listeners? My name's Brooke Early, and I'm proud to be your newest summer intern for the Varsity Sports Show. As a diver on the University of Arizona team, I truly understand the ins and outs of the sports world. As someone who has lived in this community for the past few years, I'm super interested in reporting from within. I'm super excited to be a part of this team, and I hope you all enjoy this summer's content. I know I will.
Have you downloaded the KDUS AM 1060 skill for Alexa yet?
Food. Alexa is frustrated. No matter how many times do you ask, the answer is mail, chicken.
Once you're ready, say Alexa, open KDUS AM 1060 to listen to your favorite shows.
It's Lit with Brit, featuring local sports journalist Brittany Boyer on the Varsity Sports Show, AM 1060 KDUS, Arizona. And now, here's Brit.
Hey, welcome back to the Varsity Sports Show. I'm Connor Ackerley here with Austin Hepola, and we will be bringing in, as you just heard in the intro, Brittany Boyer, well-versed in the high school football world. Welcome in, Brittany.
Hi, how are you guys?
Good. How about you?
I am wonderful.
So, you're, like I just said, you're well-versed in the high school football world. What are some teams that you see making some noise in Arizona football this year?
Well, there's quite a few of them. I think it's going to be finishing up there in the top 8. I can't tell you all 8 of them off the top of my head, but I know I did have Liberty up there, Saguaro, Basha, your typical ones, Chandler. But I think it's going to be another exciting year of football. I have a schedule, and Vince and I kind of started going through it a couple weeks ago, so we decided to break it up into a couple different segments for the next few weeks. We left off on September 8th with some of the most exciting games that we have on the schedule. So I'll read off the games to you. I want you guys to tell me what game you think is going to be the most exciting out of the 4 of them, or however many there are. So September 8th, we have Chaparral at Desert Mountain, Basha at Saguaro, Post and View at Campo Verde, and Cactus at O'Connor.
For me, just looking at that and looking at overall star power, it's hard not to go with Basha and Saguaro there. Probably looking at 2 open teams right there. But there's the sleeper game there is Chaparral and Desert Mountain. You said, right?
Yep.
Yeah, Chaparral
That's a
Desert
great
Mountain.
rivalry.
That'll be a great rivalry, but it's hard to go against Basha and Saguaro with the star power they have there.
Yeah, I gotta agree with Connor. Basha and Saguaro. Those are 2 powerhouses right there, and it should be a very exciting game. Last year you had Saguaro. You had some Cardinals players coming out to Saguaro games just because of how talented they are. So I could only imagine who's gonna come out to this game coming up this fall.
And that's a state championship rematch.
Oh man,
it is.
Yeah.
That's going to be exciting. Brittany, I got to ask, who are some maybe dark horse, maybe under the radar teams that you think could make some noise on this fall?
I think Cactus is always one of those dark horse teams that has an opportunity to make some noise. I think O'Connor as well, and I know that's one of the matchups that we just talked about, Cactus and O'Connor. I think both of those teams are actually a dark horse. And O'Connor, I believe, was in the Open 8 last year, and then they just got knocked out in the first round. But I think those are two teams. I think Notre Dame is a team that has an opportunity to be a dark horse team. I think Perry has an opportunity to be a dark horse team with Joseph Ortiz over there. You know, they've been making some big moves, doing some big things. So I think there's some sleeper teams out there that might make some noise that people aren't necessarily anticipating this year.
Yeah, I completely agree with you there. Another one I would throw in there is Desert Edge. You know, they have star power everywhere, and you know their schedules. They've been asking for the tough schedule. So yeah, that's good stuff there. Give me your prediction for the Open 8, right? Like who's going to come out of that Open 8? Do you think? Right
Basha, Saguaro. I think you have Cactus and O'Connor as probably your last two in. I think Desert Edge makes it in, but I think that they're one of the higher seeds, if not number 5. I wouldn't be surprised to see Notre Dame slide in there. I think Liberty is going to be one of the top seeds, and then Chandler.
Yeah, and then you know you got Highland as well, who they. You know, I feel like they've been snubbed out of the Open. I think like 3 years in a row now, where they've won state for 6A, 2 or 3 years in a row now. Do you think that this is the year that things change for Highland, and maybe they get the Open bid that they've been asking for and can make a little run?
Yes and no. For Highland, they've always lost one crucial game during the year that's kind of been their proverbial thorn in their side that's kept them out of there. So if they can eliminate that this year, I think they have a good chance at being another dark horse Open 8 team. You know, you never know what's going to happen, who's going to show up, who's going to have a week where you know they don't show up. Anything can happen on any given Friday, so it's going to be exciting to see. But yeah, I think that you guys hit the nail on the head with Highland feeling like they got snubbed the last couple years. So
I know Connor is not going to ask. He's a very modest person, but I want to ask you, what are your thoughts on Corona del Sol this upcoming season? How do you think they're going to do? How do you think they're going to fare? In this schedule?
I think Corona's going to do decent. I think they're another team that is growing in the rankings. You know, with Coach Barrow there now, he was a great hire for them. He was great when he was with Casa Grande. So under his second year of direction there, I think that you're going to continue to see a lot more growth and projection in the right direction. So it'll be interesting to see where they end up finishing. I know they're in a little bit of a tough region, so I think it will really come down to those key moments in those tough games, and if they're able to come out on top, and if they have what it takes to get the job done.
Yeah, and what would you say is the most exciting rivalry this year? Like a rivalry that's been going on in the past. What would you say is one that we should really look out for? You know, there's Chandler Hamilton's, there's your Desert Mountains.
I'm gonna go with Cactus Desert Edge.
Okay, yeah, I like that. The West Side teams, they're gonna two growing teams. I can see the vision there.
There's a lot of, I don't want to say animosity, but there's a lot of excitement, and both teams always look forward to playing each other. Like, that is the one game that they have circled on the schedule. I think both of them are continuing to trend in the right direction. I mean, Cactus has always been a really strong program. Desert Edge is a little bit newer, so they're up on the map. The last couple of years, they've solidified themselves as one of the top teams in the state. So I think it's going to be a great game when the two of them play each other this year.
All right, that was Lit with Brittany Boyer. Thank you, Brittany.
Thank you, Brittany.
And now we're on
Thank you, guys.
Yep, now we're on to Richard Sides with Brendan.
All right, welcome to the Varsity Sports Show, everyone. I am Brendan Sodell, here with a very special guest. This is Richard Syons of Fox 10 News. Richard, how are you doing today?
I'm doing great, Brendan. Thanks for having me.
Yep. So obviously you are one of the anchors that hosts pretty much multiple times a week. Could you go into that position and what it entails and how your job goes pretty much every day?
Yeah, I cover all the local sports, all the local teams here in the Valley, and what I like about it is every day's different. It's definitely not monotonous, that's for sure. It's always exciting, and I'm at the mercy of the teams. It all depends on what the team's schedules are that dictates my schedule. For example, tomorrow, even though I anchor till 11 p.m., I'll come in early because the Suns have a press conference introducing Bradley Beal at 11:30. So I'll probably go to that tomorrow and meet him, interview him, and then since I'm already there, I'll go over to the D-backs game that's going to start at 12:30 and watch a little bit of that, and then head back to the station and get ready for our 5 o'clock shows. And I'll be anchoring tomorrow from 5, 6, 9, and 10.
Cool. And with the sports around Arizona, everything's been getting a lot bigger. Everything's been changing a lot. How do you feel about with Arizona sports, whether it's been good or bad with all the teams? But Arizona sports been getting a lot more publicity, and some of the teams have been getting to a much higher level. So to kind of go into that and what it's like covering these bigger teams now, which wasn't like that a couple of years ago.
Yeah, I mean, I love it. It's been a heck of a run recently. Like you said, a lot of the teams here have had success. Even going back a couple of years ago with the Cardinals, at one point we're undefeated, had the best record in football. And then here locally, just for the local sports scene, it's been a heck of a run. We had the Super Bowl here in town. It was on Fox, which is the network I work for. So, from last football season where we broadcast the Cardinal games to the Super Bowl, to the sale of the Suns, to the trade for Kevin Durant, to the playoff run, even then before with the finals, it's definitely added to the workload, but it's also been a lot more fun because it's always fun to cover a winning team.
Yeah, for sure. I know you're obviously really busy. You do a lot with your job. What's kind of your favorite part about doing all this? Because you seem to be very busy. You seem to be involved in a lot of different sports. So what's kind of your favorite part about anchoring all these shows and being such a big part in this?
I think being able to be creative and tell stories and kind of bring in the viewer to the access that I have, because that's one of the great things is like, you getting to go to practice. And I like going just to watch and see how players react and getting to know the players, even talking to them without a camera just to get to know them and just developing the relationships.
Yep. That should be all for now. Thank you guys for listening. Again, this is Brendan Sodell here with Richard Syons of Fox 10 News. Catch him live Sunday through Thursday, 5, 6, 9, and 10 p.m. Thank you guys for listening and have a great rest of your day.
Thank you, Brendan, for that great interview there with Richard Syons. An Arizona legend when you consider, sports journalism in Arizona. That was a very good interview. Thank you, Brendan. And, coming up, we have Isaiah Packer, Big Man of the Week, right at 9 o'clock. So when we return for hour number 2, Desert Lineman Isaiah Packer joins us at this week's Varsity Sports Show. Angry Crab Shack Tempe, TBA Big Man of the Week. Come back to Varsity Sports Show on AM 1060, KDUS. Go Varsity.
Thank you for listening to the Varsity Sports Show, where our mission is to empower education and enable dreams, creating an unmatched platform to showcase talent both in front of and behind the microphone in radio, television, podcast, and live streaming. The Varsity Sports Show, still your home for youth, high school, college, and you in Arizona and beyond.
Broadcasting from the Superbook Sports Studios, KDUS AM 1060 Tempe, Phoenix, and KSLX HD2 Scottsdale, Phoenix.
The Angry Crab Shack in Tempe, with an experience so good it remains indescribable, with something for every seafood lover. Try one of their amazing custom seafood boils, sandwiches, appetizers, and salads. Angry Crab Shack Tempe is located east of I-10 on Warner Road, 480-674-3847. The Angry Crab Shack in Tempe. Come ready to eat. In 2019, the JV Sports Show podcast began with the idea of spotlighting young people in our community. In time, that podcast evolved into radio, television, and live stream, and through that evolution, new ideas have enhanced delivery, giving a stage to students both in front of and behind the microphone in Arizona and beyond. Thank you for supporting the Varsity Sports Show, now the Varsity Media Foundation, a 501c3 educational organization. The Varsity Sports Show is once again proud to partner with Grand Canyon University Club Sports in 2023 and 24. Join us in our coverage of GCU Club Sports on Saturday's Varsity Sports Show and the rest of the week. We'll cover hockey, soccer, baseball, rugby, lacrosse, and more. The Lopes are back on the Varsity Sports Show.
AM 1060 KDUS Tempe, Phoenix, and KSLX HD2 Scottsdale, Phoenix.
This program is paid for by the Varsity Media Foundation, a 501c3 nonprofit educational organization, and its partners.
You're listening to the Varsity Sports Show, home of Arizona's youth, high school, college sports, and you, empowering education and enabling dreams, right here on KDUS AM 1060 in Arizona. And now, welcome to the Varsity Sports Show.
It's time for the Varsity Sports Show Big Man of the Week. Brought to you by the Angry Crab Shack Tempe.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Varsity Sports Show, hour number 2. This is Austin Apola, joined by Connor Ackerley, here in studio in Phoenix. And now we're joined by Desert Vista offensive and defensive lineman Isaiah Packer, Angry Crab Shack Tempe TBA Big Man of the Week. Isaiah, how you doing today?
I'm doing great. How are you all?
I'm doing good, man. You're nominated by your head coach, Scooter Melander, for this award. And, you know, I've seen you guys compete last year. I covered Desert Vista a little bit. So what does it mean to you that you were nominated for this award by your own head coach?
It means a lot, man. All the hard work put in last year, this year, and to see it being appreciated means a lot.
Yeah, no doubt. And, you know, like I mentioned, I covered you guys last year. I don't know if you remember, but I talked to you about one of your other teammates, Antonio Delgado. What are your expectations for this upcoming season?
My expectation is that everybody just plays at a high level. Everybody just wants it. You know what I'm saying? I play with teams where not everybody just wants to win. Everybody just plays for fun, you know, which that's cool. But I want everybody to be just bought in. All 45 guys just want the same goal at the end of the day.
Hey Isaiah, it's Connor here. I want to talk about your new head coach Scooter Melander for a second. You know, he's pretty much brand new at Desert Vista. Now it's your fourth coach in 4 years. So what have you learned from him so far, and how has he been different than your previous head coaches?
I've learned that you have to build a bond with your teammates first before you get into all the football stuff. You got to love each other. We have to build that bond, because if we don't got the bond in the, you know, just everyday life, we can't really connect on the field. So I've learned just love your teammates, embrace them. Everybody, even the freshmen, just bring them in under your wing. Just love everybody.
Yeah, no doubt. There's a lot of turnover in that locker room. What is the locker room like? You know, this is the fourth coach in 4 straight years, like Connor mentioned. How is the locker room adjusting to another coaching change? And what has Coach Scooter Melander, you know, instilled on you guys so far?
How's it like? I mean, we've been through it a lot, so at this point we're just kind of used to the new adaptation of what we have to do at the end of the day. And Scooter, he's just honestly just came in and took us all under his wing. Like, we haven't had a new coach. It's like it feels like he's been here the whole time. So he feels like family already.
Yeah, that's great. And last year you guys had a pretty good season. Had a lot of great offensive output. Your defense played well. And then like Austin just said, you guys had a lot of turnover, not just with the coaching staff, but you guys had a fairly senior heavy team the last 2 years. One, did it help to have a senior led team? Like did they help the younger guys and lead the younger guys?
Yeah, they helped us out, especially at practice. Guys who were on JV kind of just giving them more reps than they usually would if they were just practicing by themselves. So they're getting them ready for the next step that they're going to have to take this year. So the seniors are much appreciated last year.
And then, are you what have you taken from the seniors that you think that, oh yeah, I can be that leader that some of the seniors were last year. I can, help out a younger guy. So what have you taken from that?
I've taken every play counts because Delgado he tells me that it goes by pretty quick. And, you have to take advantage of every moment. So he taught me that you gotta every play go out there and ball out because you never know what's gonna be your last.
Yeah, Antonio Delgado was great character, great football player. Hopefully he's doing well in his future endeavors. I wanted to ask you, what is it like playing? Are you playing offensive and defensive line, or just
Yes,
one or
sir.
the other? Okay. So what is it like playing in the trenches? I mean, have you always envisioned yourself playing in the line, or what is that like?
Yeah, I've been playing line since I was like 5 years old. A lot of headaches, But at the end of the day, you gotta kind of push through that, and you gotta have that dog in you, honestly, because you can't just be weak in the trenches. You gotta every play just execute.
Yeah, bouncing off Austin's question, what do you like playing better? You like offense better? Or you like defense better? You like protecting the quarterback, or you like tackling the quarterback?
I like defense better because you could be a little more, loose because you can't hold on offense, and defense you kind of just could be flying over the field, making tackles, setting off blocks. Offense you kind of got to stay more conservative, if that makes sense.
Do you hope to take football to the next level at the collegiate level, or do you have some other plans that backed up just in case, or what are your ultimate goals? I guess I should say.
Oh yes, sir. I plan on playing college football 4 years, maybe get my master's degree, maybe 5 years.
That's amazing. Do you have a major in plan already? Maybe something to study with?
Yeah, I'm looking to go to college for criminal justice. That's my end goal.
Wow, criminal justice. Do not mess with this guy, man. If you break the law, this guy is out here to get you, especially after getting experience attacking the quarterback. Isaiah, I mean, I don't know if I asked this again, but what should we expect for the best of football this year? I mean, a lot of turnover, new coach, young team. What should we expect to see on the field this year?
We should just expect guys ready to get after it. You know what I'm saying? Just putting their heart on the field, every play, every game.
Yeah, and kind of bouncing off that, what guys should we be on the lookout for? What are some skill guys or some other linemen that you think are going to have a big year and help you guys win some games this year?
Okay, skill guys. Got my dog, Ron Martinez, first team all-region receiver, and he's playing some safety back there too, so he's having a good season. Got my guy, Makai Toms, corner, Stuart Gibson, safety, Shade McDonald, linebacker this season, all rising seniors. Those guys, one of my linemen, Officer Uncle Kong, about to be a junior, young guy, very strong, off the line, defense and offense, so those guys should be great.
And then, I play at Corona del Sol, so I've got to play Desert Vista every year I've been at Corona, and, I've kind of noticed that, your guys' offensive line and defensive line has been your like identity. You guys, year in and year out, you guys got some big dogs up front. You guys pride yourself in the run game. You guys had Devin Grubbs. You pride yourself in that. You guys had Christian Clark backing him up. So, do you think that that's an identity that you guys are going to keep pushing forward this year?
Oh yes, sir, it is. We got some great running backs coming in this year that were, didn't really get much play time last year. We played on freshman team. Those guys are ready to, get after it. O-line, we're just going after it every day. Got a lot of guys playing both sides too, in the weight room. So yeah, that's really our identity.
What do you got planned this summer, man? You just working out right now, getting ready for the season? What else you got? What's you got planned?
Yeah, we just finished out our last week of summer training yesterday. So and then we're going to camp in a couple of weeks. I'm just working out every day. Going to Chicago in a few weeks too, so that should be great.
Chicago, that should be exciting, man. Isaiah, I want to thank you, man. This is Austin Epolo of Connor Ackley here, Varsity Sports, joined by Desert Vista offensive and defensive lineman Isaiah Packer, Tempe's Angry Crab Shack TBA Big Man of the Week. Isaiah, again, thank you for your time, man.
Oh, thank you. No problem. I appreciate it.
Yep. Coming up next, we have Brooke Early interviewing Jessica Castles. Go ahead and play that segment, Aaron, and join us back here at Varsity Sports.
Welcome to the Varsity Sports Show. My name is Brooke Early, here with the University of Arizona gymnast Jessica Castles. Jess, how are you?
I'm good. How are you, Brooke? Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. I'm in Tucson. You're in London, right? So
Yes.
You must be enjoying the summer there.
Yes, definitely.
Well, this year was your junior year. How did you feel about your season personally?
Yes, I feel like I had a pretty good season. I feel like most people have a dip somewhere in their collegiate career, and mine was definitely in my sophomore year. So I think it was really good for both myself and my confidence, having the year I did.
Oh, yeah, of course, because especially I feel like after having a hard year, the comeback season is so much more impressive. So
Yeah, definitely. And I scored some career highs on beam and vault, so that was really good. And I think in general, my consistency was just a lot better.
Right. I think it was very fun. I went to a lot more gym meets this year, and it was very fun to see you just up there and just having fun.
Yeah, thank you. Loved having you there.
So you're from Sweden and London and ended up competing on the Swedish national team. What is the difference for you competing for them versus competing for college athletics in the US?
Yeah, well, there's definitely a huge difference despite it being the same sport, obviously. Like the rules are different. The biggest difference for me was when I did elite gymnastics. I was in high school, and now I'm in college. I live a completely different lifestyle, and gymnastics isn't like my whole life anymore. So I'd say that's the biggest difference, learning to balance and maintain those other aspects of my life. I also feel that there's a bigger team aspect in college, which has been really fun to experience.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. I feel like you're competing for yourself and now you're competing for the team. So
Yeah, definitely for something bigger now.
Right. So you have a few more years of eligibility left. What is in the future for you? So will you go back to Sweden or London to compete or retire to start your life?
Yeah, that is the big question now that I'm going into my senior year. I obviously have the option of taking a fifth year, being a COVID freshman. So that's on the cards, but I'm still not sure if I want to take that yet. I could also start my life, which is scary, but I'm very excited. And yeah, I think probably start my life, honestly.
I agree. I think about my own career and I'm like, that sounds so much more interesting.
Yeah, exactly. I feel the same way and kind of excited to start like that new part of our lives.
Right. Well, thank you for coming on here. My name's Brooke Early, here with Arizona gymnast Jessica Castles. Thanks for listening and have a great weekend.
Welcome back to Varsity Sports Radio Show. This is Austin Hepola, joined with Connor Ackley. And hey, man, the time has been flying by. It's already an hour and a half in almost, and it's just been going back to back to back. And we still have a lot of good content to come up here soon. Connor, what are you most looking forward to here in these next 40 or so minutes?
Yeah, we got Brendan talking about the D-backs. I interviewed one of my linemen. Kelsey talking about, I believe, Rockets draft pick Amen Thompson, and then obviously Jeremy Hathcock coming in for a live interview. So should be a good second hour.
Yeah, no doubt. And then 9:40, we have Kenji Ito doing another Southern California report. I'll be recapping Section 7 tournament that happened last weekend. And then, we'll end off the show. Last few 10 minutes, we'll just, spitball, talk about any current sports news. Hopefully, Brendan will join us as well. And it's going to be an exciting show, man. It's been nothing but high motor action going on, and we got a lot more coming with you guys here soon. And, after the break, we'll have Brendan talking about the D-backs. This is Austin and Connor speaking, and go Varsity.
We'll do what's best for the team. We'll do what's best for you.
The Rich Eisen Show coming to you weekdays from 3 to 5 p.m. here on KDUS AM 1060 and KDUS1060.com.
Hi, this is Rob Maggs, Vince's life coach and surfing coach to the Beach Bum Beal. You're listening live to the Varsity Sports Show on AM 1060 KDUS.
The Varsity Sports Show and Angry Crab Shack Tempe are proud to bring you the Varsity Sports Show Big Man of the Week. Join us every Saturday morning through August as we spotlight an offensive or defensive lineman that your coaches nominate. We will feature photos or video highlights on our social media and have your lineman join us live on Saturday morning's Varsity Sports Radio Show between 8 and 10 a.m. Coaches, reach out on Instagram or Twitter with your nomination. Brought to you by Angry Crab Shack Tempe and the Varsity Sports Show, AM 1060, KDUS, Arizona. Coaches, the Varsity Sports Show wants to be part of your team in 2023. We have a proven track record of providing the most coverage of your teams with Thursday and Friday night football. We will spotlight your players with multi-camera game broadcasts, pre- and post-game interviews, and segments on our Saturday morning radio show. With over 100 games broadcast in 2022, we will be exceptional for your team. Call, text, or email 480-220-4629 or info@varsitysportshow.com.
James Out West brings NFL, NBA, MLB, and local sports talk to you Monday night starting at 7 on KDUS AM 1060 and the KDUS 1060 app.
Welcome back to the Varsity Sports Show, everyone. I am Brendan Sodell. Once again, I will be talking about the Arizona Diamondbacks. The Diamondbacks made headlines once again this season, but not as the team, but for a player. Leading candidate for Rookie of the Year, Corbin Carroll, was named a starter for the 2023 All-Star Game in his hometown of Seattle. Carroll received 30% of the fan vote out of the finalists in the NL outfield to start in the All-Star Game, beating out teammate Lourdes Gurriel and Michael Harris of the Braves. This is a huge moment for the D-backs, having a rookie start in the All-Star Game, as well as having another finalist in Lourdes Gurriel. Carroll has been making history all season for the Diamondbacks, and he has done it once again, becoming the first rookie in over 10 years as a Diamondback to start in the All-Star Game as a position player, as well as the first outfielder to start in the All-Star Game since the great Luis Gonzalez. After the fan voting had completed and today's announcements, the Diamondbacks had one All-Star, but the reserves and the pitchers are still yet to be announced. Each team is required to have one representative in the All-Star Game, and last season the Diamondbacks only had one representative. Corbin Carroll has proved to the national audience that he is already one of the best outfielders in the MLB as a rookie. He's not only leading the Rookie of the Year race, but he is near the top of the MVP race as well. In a race that's filled with some of the best players of this generation, including Ronald Acuna and Freddie Freeman, both of whom were named All-Star starters today as well. With the reserves being announced on Sunday for the All-Star Game, the D-backs could look to do something that they haven't done in 5 years, which is have 3 All-Stars on the roster. In 2018, Zach Greinke, Paul Goldschmidt, and Patrick Corbin were all named to the All-Star team. Lourdes Gurriel, Christian Walker, Zach Gallen, and Merrill Kelly are all in the running for the All-Star Game. The Diamondbacks as a team haven't been as hot as they were to start the season, but they are still second in the NL and first in the NL West. Even with a recent surge from the San Francisco Giants, they are able to beat them in one of the 3 games they recently played against each other and hold their lead by a couple of games. The All-Star Game is where the league's best talent is showcased, and the Diamondbacks have one of those players starting, and it's a rookie. This feat does not happen often, and Corbin Carroll continues to amaze fans every single day. This weekend will show how many more Diamondbacks will make the All-Star rosters, and there could potentially be a lot of black and red in the... Thank you again to everyone for listening to this episode of the Varsity Sports Show, where I talked about the Arizona Diamondbacks and their potential All-Star selections coming after this weekend. Again, this is Brendan Sodell. I hope everyone has a great weekend.
Hi, I'm Connor Ackley with the Varsity Sports Show. I'm here today with Colonial Soul offensive lineman Joey Titano. So Joey, we're here at Camp Blue Ridge. This is the last day. What have been your thoughts on camp this week?
Well, it's obviously been very tough, but it's always about pushing through and all the mental discipline that you gain during camp. And it's always going to be tough, but if you push through, then you'll be fine.
So, you started on varsity as a sophomore last year. You started at center, I think the third game of the year, due to some injuries, and then you kind of stepped into that role. How has that experience kind of helped you to be a better offensive lineman for next year?
Well, at first it was scary, but as I picked it up and started training more, I was able to get all of my nerves down and just realize that I'm able to play these big boys that I go against. It has helped me settle into a varsity setting, so I know what I'm going to go against, and it helps me with studying film and just showing me what I can do against these defensive tackles that I go against.
And then, overall, I think you guys as an offensive line group, you guys have become pretty close with each other. What is a kind of a strength that you think that the offensive line group as a whole has going into the next year?
I would say mental discipline. We have a lot of mental discipline. We are able to reset when a mistake is done. We're able to know what our job is. We are able to pick it up when we know that we're slowing down. And a majority, we're just able to get together and get along with each other, even times it's stressing out.
All right, that was Joey Titano, Colonial Soul offensive lineman. For more on the Varsity Sports Show,
Hi everyone, I'm Kelsey Reggett with the Varsity Sports Show. Today I'm discussing the inspirational rise and journey of the Houston Rockets' overall fourth pick, Amen Thompson from Oakland, California. With the fourth pick in the 2023 NBA Draft, the Houston Rockets selected Amen Thompson of the Overtime Elite League. Heading into the offseason, the Houston Rockets expressed a clear need for a floor general, and Thompson is one of the best point guards in this year's draft class. The Portland Trailblazers expressed interest in Thompson as a backup option if G League Ignite guard Scoot Henderson went second overall to the Charlotte Hornets, who opted to select Alabama forward Brandon Miller instead. For those just tuning in, I'm Kelsey Reggett with the Varsity Sports Show discussing the Houston Rockets' fourth overall pick, Amen Thompson. Many expressed concerns in Thompson due to the perceived lack of competition he faced in the Overtime Elite League, which has been viewed as a glorified AAU league. Amen Thompson and his twin brother, Asar Thompson, who went fifth overall to the Detroit Pistons, led the City Reapers to the Overtime Elite title, which helped them both become top 5 prospects. Amen Thompson passed on several offers from top college programs, such as Arizona State, Auburn, and Alabama, in hopes of emulating life as an NBA athlete. This was a risky proposition as the Overtime Elite had not yet produced a first-round NBA draft pick prior to him and his brother Asar. The Houston Rockets general manager, Raphael Stone, expressed excitement and optimism in what Amen Thompson can bring to the Rockets team. Thanks for sharing your Saturday morning with us. I'm Kelsey Reggett with the Varsity Sports Show.
Welcome back to Varsity Sports Radio Show. This is Austin Epola, joined with Connor Ackley. Want to thank Connor, Kelsey, Brendan for those wonderful segments. And we got half an hour left. We had a great show so far, and I want to talk about the Phoenix Suns right now, and more specifically, just NBA landscape in general. Connor, the Suns made a few signings yesterday, a lot of depth pieces. Obviously, They made a big trade for Bradley Beal a few weeks ago. What do you think has been the most pivotal signing? I mean, I guess aside from Beal, obviously, he's the main centerpiece of that. Yeah. But what depth signing have you enjoyed so far?
Obviously, it appeared that they are trying to go with a younger bench than they had in the past. They had Terrence Ross, they had T.J. Warren, they kept Damian Lee. So this year they just signed Keita Bates-Diop. They signed Utah Watanabe.
Yeah.
So they're trying to go younger. The biggest signing that I think is going to be Utah Watanabe. What I just said. He shot 44% from three this year. He shot 51% until Kevin Durant got traded. And when, he got traded and then he wasn't getting as many open looks because there was no Kevin Durant. So I think with Kevin Durant and Devin Booker and Bradley Beal on the floor, he's going to be sitting in the corner and no one's going to be covering him at all. So he's going to have a good year for us. That's kind of what the Suns are missing. So.
Yeah, definitely. They lacked depth in the playoffs. It showed when they were up against the obviously reigning champion Denver Nuggets. And I would have to agree. Yuta Watanabe is a great shooter, especially when he's playing with Kevin Durant, like you mentioned. And I saw a stat saying he shot about 49% from corner threes specifically. So, I mean, hey, half his threes going in from the corner. I mean, Devin Booker, Kevin Durant, Bradley Beal could just kick it out right to him.
They'll take that chance.
Man, I'm already getting excited. The offseason just started, and, we got a long ways to go. Speaking of the offseason, we do have a little breaking news here. Damian Lillard just requested a trade from Portland. I mean, that's pretty big news considering Dame has been with the Blazers for, forever, since his whole career. Connor, what do you think about that request, and what do you think about where he might go?
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to say. It's surprising because it's kind of been coming for, 2-3 years now. But, if you want to look at it from the Suns' perspective, they're going to be getting the guy in the Western Conference out of the Western Conference because the two teams that he kind of threw in there were the Nets and the Heat, which are both Eastern Conference teams. So it's almost good news for the Suns too that they get Damian Lillard out of their conference, even though now they got Scoot Henderson. But yeah, I mean that massive news is going to shake up the NBA world. It's going to shake up the Eastern Conference world. It's going to change the Heat's odds in the playoffs. It's going to change the Nets' odds. Whoever he ends up with. It's going to be interesting to see what package they give for him. I mean, it's just crazy stuff.
Yeah, one less, monster the Suns have to worry about. The Blazers weren't necessarily a world beater last year, but when Dame's fully healthy and the Blazers have good surrounding cast around them, I mean they could take it all the way. Yeah, for sure. The Suns made a huge trade getting Bradley Beal. Chris Paul has now joined the Golden State Warriors, which is kind of bittersweet for us Suns fans. Chris Paul kind of changed the culture around here. What do you think about the Bradley Beal acquisition? I mean, that's a big three of him, KD, and Book.
Yeah, some people were saying they don't like it, but I honestly think, what is money going to matter next year if they win a ring? You know what I mean? So, another thing that I'm going to be interested to see because a lot of people will say that Bradley Beal trade was a steal. I mean, it was Bradley Beal for Chris Paul and Landry Shamet, and so.
Six second-round picks.
What I'm interested to see here is, what is the Damian Lillard package going to look like? Did the Bradley Beal trade shake up, how valuable a player like that is if they ask out? So, we'll see what comes out of it. And I honestly think the Bradley Beal trade, now looking back after free agency, I think it was a very, very good move by James Jones and the Suns.
Yeah, James Jones and new owner Matt Ishbia have shown in the last 5-6 months that they're trying to get aggressive. I mean, that Kevin Durant trade absolutely broke the internet that night it happened before the trade deadline. Obviously, giving up Mikal Bridges to Cam Johnson was very bittersweet, like I mentioned with Chris Paul. That whole core with that Suns finals team, Chris Paul, Cam Johnson, Mikal Bridges, Monty Williams, it's all diminishing. And it's now left to Devin Booker and Cameron Payne maybe. Yeah, so we're going to see a lot of new faces here next season with the Suns, and it's making me want to go out to a game. I mean, I saw Kevin Durant play with us last year. That was absolutely incredible, and I've got Bradley Beal now. It's going to be high-powered offense. I'm not sure how the defense will look. Hopefully we get some role players to get in there and,
Need Ayton to step up.
Yeah, Ayton,
be our defensive anchor now.
Yeah, no doubt. We don't know even if Ayton apparently Frank Vogel said he wants to keep Ayton around, and, they say that, but
I mean, at this point, it kind of looks like that's what it's going to look like.
Yeah,
with the free agent signings. So, if they could get him back to that 2021 finals run, they've got a real shot at the finals and at winning a championship. So
yeah, it's gonna be very exciting. The Suns should be a contender in the West. You got the Nuggets. You got the Clippers, Lakers. You name it. But I think the Suns should have a big name in the West. With that being said, coming up, we have an interview with Jeremy Hathcock. Coach Hathcock is going to be coming on live here after the break. This is Austin and Connor speaking, and go Varsity.
now time in your afternoon for the Doug Gottlieb Show right here on KDUS AM 1060, 100.7 HD2, and KDUS1060.com. Weekdays from 1 to 3 p.m.
This is Carefree Arizona Mayor John Crane. When I look for political advice, I don't call Vince. But when I need a good laugh to start my weekend, I listen to Varsity Sports Show. Still Arizona's home for youth, high school, college, and you on AM 1060 KDUS.
This is Coach Lucas Ramirez, and you are listening to the home of the Saguaro Sabercats, the Varsity Sports Show on AM 1060 KDUS.
The Angry Crab Shack in Tempe, with an experience so good it remains indescribable, with something for every seafood lover. Try one of their amazing custom seafood boils, sandwiches, appetizers, and salads. Angry Crab Shack Tempe is located east of I-10 on Warner Road, 480-674-3847. The Angry Crab Shack in Tempe. Come ready to eat.
Hey there, my name is Connor Ackley with the Varsity Sports Show. I am a senior at Corona del Sol High School where I play quarterback. I'm excited to bring you the content you want to hear and see over this summer, whether it be interviews, features, or co-hosting a show. If you want an exclusive look at the high school offseason and how to navigate it, stay tuned for all that and more. It'll be a behind-the-scenes look of the hard work that gets put in the summer to show you what gets put in the fall, winter, and spring. So tune in to the Varsity Sports Show.
SB Nation Radio is now Sports Map Radio, keeping sports content fresh and fun. Join us right here on KDUS AM 1060.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Varsity Sports Radio Show. This is Austin Hepola with Connor Ackerley in studio here in Phoenix, Arizona. We're waiting on a call from Coach Jeremy Hathcock. Hopefully he could join us here soon. But here at Varsity Sports, we keep it rolling. We keep the topics rolling. And Connor, we were talking about the Suns just before the break, and also Dame's trade request. I want to ask, what teams do you think Dame would really fit on? I mean, you talk about going to the Eastern Conference. I mean, he really could fit on any team, but what
I mean, any team would love to have a guy like Damian Lillard, a guy like shoot the lights out like that. So, he requested the Miami Heat and the Brooklyn Nets, which the Brooklyn Nets I would like to highlight because obviously you have Mikal Bridges and Cam Johnson from the Suns, and they've got a really young core, and I think Damian Lillard can really help them make a push in the playoffs. They ended up being, I think, a 5 seed. This year, or a 6 seed and ran into the 76ers. So I think Damian Lillard, that's a good fit for him there. I think, again, the Heat would be a good fit for him. I mean, that big three of him, Jimmy Butler, and Bam Adebayo would be pretty good. So, those two teams, I think he put some thought into where he wanted to request a trade to.
Yeah, no doubt. And now we're brought to you by Jeremy Hathcock. Coach Hathcock, how you doing today, man?
Good, guys. Thanks for having me.
Hey, Coach. So, Corona del Sol, we just got back from Camp Blue Ridge, and you've been at Blue Ridge for a few years now. And I really just wanted to ask, what kind of made you guys as a coaching staff and you guys as a school decide that we want to have 6 or 7 teams down here staying in our gyms because I could tell that it's a lot of work to be sleeping at Blue Ridge and host teams like that. So what kind of made you decide to do that?
Well, that's a good question. I think it goes back to when I grew up and I played here, we used to go to camps like this, and I just liked playing against other teams and getting to know other people. And as a coach, I like camaraderie. I like seeing what other teams do. And then it's a great fundraiser, obviously, for our program with the budgets. But but selfishly speaking, for our guys up here, we don't get to see a lot of talent come up here, and so when you get to see what real talent looks like, we're able to raise our level. So it's definitely multifaceted, but all in all, I think it's a part of giving back, a part of it helps us, and it's just a fun thing all the way around. And then to be honest, I've done it for about 15 years, and I don't think there's many places I could go without seeing kids that have come up here. So it's kind of a fun thing for me.
Yeah. So, before Blue Ridge, you told us about your time at Desert Ridge when we were up at Blue Ridge, and I just kind of want to ask, going from Desert Ridge to Blue Ridge, what are some things that are like kind of differences between a 6A school like Desert Ridge, where you guys were competing for championships year in and year out? You guys had a bunch of talent, and now you're at Blue Ridge, where you still have the talent, but it's just a smaller school. I saw all
Right.
the state championship banners you guys had up there, but what's the difference between 6A and 3A for you?
Well, a lot. I mean, one thing I can tell you is kids are still kids. They're great everywhere you go. There's nothing different about like that school and this school about a kid being not a good kid. But as far as competitive excellence, stuff like that, I think in the Valley, I think having that built-in competition with, when we were at Desert Ridge, we had between 150, 200 and something kids. You're able to push each other on a different level because you have kids all around you trying to take your job, and so you always got to stay on top of your game. But here at Blue Ridge, I think one of the main differences is these kids grew up here. They, they were born. They probably wore a yellow jacket onesie. I mean, everything about them screams Blue Ridge. So the passion that they have for their school is a little bit different than the passion that the kids that I coached at Desert Ridge had for Desert Ridge. I think there's many differences, and then obviously size. Like at Desert Ridge, our kids could go one way. Sometimes kids would go two ways. It's just such a collision sport in 6A, whereas in 3A, these kids are road warriors, man. And I think you probably saw it when you saw us out there. Our kids, when we went to offense, they just flipped over to defense, vice versa. So, our kids are built for going both ways because it's still football. It's still tough. There's still injuries that happen, but I think it's less. It's definitely less on it. But I'll say this: I walk in Bashas and across the street at Desert Ridge, and nobody would know me. I walk into Safeway here, and I got to run in and grab my cereal real quick and run out before I get killed with all these questions about how good we're going to be in football. So.
Hey, I wanted to ask, you mentioned, the kids playing both sides of the ball. They're all homegrown there. What is the culture like at Blue Ridge? And more importantly, what is your philosophy that you're trying to instill on these kids?
That's a great question. That's a loaded question. It's a good one. Well, I can say that character, and everybody talks about character, and it's one thing to preach character. It's one thing to live character. And I'm fortunate to have my son Alec back up here, who is our defensive coordinator. He played football at ACU with Jeff Bowen, and then played for me at Desert Ridge. He coached with Dave Jeffries, who, Dave Jeffries, he's an ultimate character guy in the Valley. But we all of our kids have a quote of the week they have to memorize, right? And whether it's effort, it's important to you, you'll find a way. If not, you'll find an excuse, things like that. Well, we found out that when you give kids quotes, that doesn't mean anything. When you have memorized quotes, that means something. But when you don't hold them accountable to quotes, you're wasting your time. And so, because what you do is like, we consider coaching football kind of like boiling a frog. So you don't just throw it in hot water, the whole thing, right? You slightly turn up the heat. And so once you build your kids that way, when it comes to character and expectation and toughness and attitude, then you start taking them to the next level, which is you are able to hold them accountable on and off the field with timing and weight room in the morning. Then you take them to mountain camp in June, which we do, it's only yes sir, it's only no sir, there's no cussing, there's no nothing. And kids are able to transform their life, and they see how having that toughness and character pays off when it really matters when their parents aren't around. And, and then we obviously take them to the season, we get them back to dreaming, and so I think between character and being able to dream and being able to be the best version of themselves, that's my goal as a coach. And hey, if we're 5-5, if we're 13-0, or great. But if a kid's the best version of themselves, I just gave them a bunch of tools that they may have never had going into their life from nobody else. So anyway, so I credit that a lot to my coaching staff and just, these kids who grow up Brewers way, they deserve to be coached well.
Yeah, I could definitely see the discipline aspect of things come in. I mean, you instill that on every team that comes through Blue Ridge for camp, and I think that's really important in football and in life. And it's just great stuff. So thank you, Jeremy, Coach Hathcock, for coming on to our show. That was Coach Hathcock, the head coach of Blue Ridge High School. Thank you, Coach.
Thank you, Coach.
Yeah, thanks guys for having me. Good luck.
Awesome. That was Coach Hathcock here. And here at Varsity Sports, we have one more segment coming up. I should say two segments, actually. We have Kenji interviewing Leslie Carr, and then right after the break, we have me recapping Section 7 men's tournament. And yeah, it's gonna be a great end of the show here. We've been high motor all 2 hours here at Varsity Sports, and we're gonna end off strong here at Varsity Sports. This is Connor and Austin here live in studio, and yeah, Aaron, take us to the next segment.
My name is Kenji Ito from the Varsity Sports Show, providing Southern California sports and local stories. With me here today is one of the directors for Gray Save, Leslie Carr. How are you doing today, Leslie?
I'm just great. I'm so pleased to talk to you, Kenji.
So my first question is, can you briefly describe what Gray Save is all about?
Absolutely. Gray Save has been founded as a group who interacts with the greyhounds that are racing on the racetracks. When they have completed their racing careers, we get them from the tracks and we get them ready to live in a house, and then we get them adopted into homes.
Yeah, and my next question kind of follows up a little bit, but for greyhound racing specifically, what is the reality of the sport?
Well, greyhound racing has been around for a number of years, and it was really founded on the fact that these dogs who are built for speed, they have bodies that are very aligned with running, and they've always been used for hunting and racing in the years past. And so racing became something that became a way to use the dogs and their running ability to make money. So it became a situation where they put racetracks up and race the dogs and get people to come to the racetracks and bet money on the dogs, and that's how the money is made. So as long as there's an industry that supports the money-making factor, that's why the greyhounds are being used. So at this point, our greyhound industry has really diminished over the years. I've been doing this work since 1997. At that time, there were 21 open tracks, and now there are only 3.
Basically, dog racing is kind of like a horse racing a little bit, but it's a different animal, obviously. But to become household pets and set for adoption, is there a certain test that the dogs have to go through?
Yes, because we really want to, our goal when we get these dogs is to figure out what they're like, what their ability is to adjust to a household living. And so we want to be able to place them in homes that will be suitable for them. So one of the things we do in the very beginning is to test them to see how they act around a cat, which they've never seen before, and actually how they actually act around a small dog, because they haven't seen small dogs before. And it gives us a chance to see if they're just curious or if they actually want to go after them, meaning they have high prey.
Yeah, and for people who have never seen, heard, or have had a greyhound, what should someone expect when someone adopts a greyhound?
Right. And our organization is founded on the idea that when we put a dog from the track into a home, we call that a foster home. And that home is initially giving the dog a chance to get to know how it is going to be like living in a house or an apartment where their confinement is different than being on a track and in a cage. So when we go out to see people who are interested in adopting, we do a lot of education to give them some ideas about how these animals are have had their past and what they're able to do at this point and what their responsibility as a new owner is going to have to be. So I tell people they need to expect that there's going to be some transition, and it maybe take 3 or 4 months for a dog to really get adapted into a new home.
Yeah, and I appreciate so much of your time, Leslie. I appreciate you for a great interview.
Thank you too, Kenji.
You just heard from Leslie Carr, and from the Varsity Sports Show, I've been Kenji Ito.
Listener rewards for you with the KTUS 1060 app. Download today to hear all of the national and local shows you love. That's the KTUS 1060 app.
Coaches, the Varsity Sports Show wants to be part of your team in 2023. We have a proven track record of providing the most coverage of your teams with Thursday and Friday night football. We will spotlight your players with multi-camera game broadcasts, pre- and post-game interviews, and segments on our Saturday morning radio show. With over 100 games broadcast in 2022, we will be exceptional for your team. Call, text, or email 480-220-4629 or info@varsitysportshow.com. In 2019, the JV Sports Show podcast began with the idea of spotlighting young people in our community. In time, that podcast evolved into radio, television, and live stream, and through that evolution, new ideas have enhanced delivery, giving a stage to students both in front of and behind the microphone in Arizona and beyond. Thank you for supporting the Varsity Sports Show, now the Varsity Media Foundation, a 501c3 educational organization.
Hi, my name is Michael Beal from Costa Mesa, California, and I'm the only person other than Vince that got the honor of wearing his high school Letterman jacket. You're listening to the Varsity Sports Show on AM 1060 KDUS, Arizona.
Have you downloaded the KTUS 1060 app yet? Download today and get all of your favorite local and national shows right on your phone.
Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Austin Hepola with the Varsity Sports Show. Today I am going to recap my experience from the Section 7 boys tournament that took place at State Farm Stadium last weekend. Because I am a part of this wonderful team here at Varsity Sports, I was given the opportunity to attend the Section 7 tournament as a media member. It was my first time doing anything with the media pass, so I was very excited to get out there and see the action up and close, while also making some connections as well. For those who don't know, the Section 7 tournament is a yearly event where the best high school basketball teams in the West compete against each other in front of college coaches and scouts. This year, it was held in State Farm Stadium, which is also the home of next year's NCAA Final Four. There were a dozen courts laid out across the stadium, where thousands of high school basketball players were given the opportunity to showcase their talents under the brightest lights. This place was absolutely packed with people. Games would start as early as 8 in the morning, and they would play as late as 10 at night. Throughout the weekend, the best high school basketball players in the country were playing at an incredibly high level. For those just tuning in, this is Austin Hepola with the Varsity Sports Show, recapping the Section 7 boys basketball tournament. Unfortunately for all of the Arizona listeners, no AZ high school basketball team emerged victorious in any of the 10 divisions in last weekend's Section 7 tournament. With that being said, Arizona is definitely on the rise in terms of overall high school basketball talent. The state as a whole had a great showing in this year's tournament, and they really put a lot of college scouts and coaches on notice. Some notable players that were a part of the boys tournament were Cameron and Caden Boozer. According to ESPN, Cameron is the #1 ranked high school basketball player in the 2025 class, while Caden is ranked 25th. Perry High School's own Koa Pete, who is ranked number 4 in the 2025 class, Tunda Yusufu, who is ranked 24 in the same class, and hundreds of more talented basketball competitors. One of the larger stories of last weekend's tournament was Bryce James making his debut for Campbell Hall High School. LeBron's youngest son transferred to Campbell Hall from Sierra Canyon, and everyone was interested to see how he would do in a new setting. It's safe to say that some of the largest crowds of the entire event occurred when Bryce James was playing, and while he didn't blow up the stat sheet, he looked very impressive out there. The Section 7 tournament was an amazing experience. I met and spoke with some very great people and also got to watch some high-level basketball. I can't wait to see how some of these schools perform once the season rolls around this winter. I'm Austin Hepolo of Varsity Sports, and until next time, take it easy. That was Austin Hepola, aka myself, on that Varsity Sports Section 7 recap. And Connor, we had a good show today, man. We interviewed Raymond S. Cullis football head coach Ben Cullis. We had Isaiah Packer on for the Big Man of the Week, Desert Vista lineman. We had Jeremy Hathcock, Blue Ridge football head coach, and we had Brittany Boyer to talk about some high school football. I wanted to ask you, what is the moment that really stood out to you today?
Yeah, getting to interview Coach Hathcock, that was fun. I honestly think breaking the Damian Lillard news is something that you don't get to do every day. So, that was probably my favorite moment of the show.
Yeah, without a doubt. I mean, it's rare that you get a megastar in the NBA request a trade, let alone Dame, who's been kind of, toying with the idea of leaving the Blazers or staying.
Yeah.
So, it's about time that, Dame makes a change in his career. But, yeah, it's been a great show. We're slowly ending it off here. We're going to bring in Brendan Sodell here. And, Brendan, how you doing today, man?
You?
I'm doing good, man. Yeah, me and Connor were just talking about Damian Lillard requesting a trade out of Portland. I wanted to hear, your thoughts on that and how that could affect the landscape of the NBA.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of saw it coming with how Portland was kind of building their team up and the rumors that were coming around. But I also thought he would be a guy that would want to stay in Portland his entire career and build up that legacy. But with what they said, he wants to go to Miami, and depending what they trade for him, I think that could be a really good team that could potentially make the finals again. So I think it's going to shake up a lot of the East, and we'll just have to see what the trade is for.
Yeah, Brendan, and you did your pre-recorded segment today on the Diamondbacks and kind of highlighted Corbin Carroll getting his first All-Star game as a rookie. So just give me your general thoughts, because the first half of the season, they just had their 81st game a few days ago. So give me your general thoughts through the first half of the season on what the D-backs are looking like.
I think it's been going better than even the team could have expected. I mean, I don't think many people saw them being in this position, having one All-Star, and the fact they could have multiple All-Stars as well. I think it's just a great spot for the team to be in, and they've been on a roll lately, and hope they can continue it after the break.
Yeah, the D-backs are definitely on the rise, and kind of unrelated, but a little related. Shohei Ohtani is a free agent, upcoming free agent, and I don't know how linked the Diamondbacks are to him, but I wanted to ask the both of you. I want to hear both of your answers on this. There was a big Twitter buzz last week when Shohei Ohtani had another impressive game, just like how he always does. They were trying to compare Shohei Ohtani to someone in the NBA or NFL world, and there's a lot of controversy because a lot of people were saying, he's uncomparable. I mean, he's playing two entirely different positions. But I want to ask you, Brendan, and also Connor, what closest comparison can you make with another athlete to Shohei Ohtani?
I mean, gosh, right now, you look in the NBA world, and I can't even think of someone that. I mean, Shohei Ohtani, he's pitching at the highest level right now, and he's batting at the highest level. And there's a reason that there hasn't been a guy that's done something like this in over 100 years. So, you can say, Victor Wembanyama, it looks like, he's 7'5", he can shoot the three. But, those are all one kind of skill, Ohtani has taken two completely different skills and is doing them at a very high level. And the one that I saw on Twitter I thought was funny and almost true is someone said it was like if someone was playing basketball at a really, really high level and then was able to compete at a high level and do PGA Opens for golf. It's two completely different sports. One's throwing the ball and one's hitting the ball. So
that's incredible. Brendan, what are your thoughts on all that?
I guess to give a player example, one I saw a lot, and people have been saying Ohtani's one of the greatest players ever, and obviously Michael Jordan's one of the greatest, if not the greatest players ever. And I think it's a lot like him, what he used to do in the 80s and 90s, where he won Defensive Player of the Year and then led the league in scoring. Just two completely different parts of the game, and he was the best at it.
Yeah, I think the closest one I saw on Twitter that sparked a lot of controversy, that was why I brought it up, was I think somebody mentioned Patrick Mahomes throwing 5 touchdowns and then playing defense and getting 3 sacks.
Yeah, I mean,
yeah, I saw that.
What he's doing is just nuts, and it hasn't been done since Babe Ruth. I mean,
I mean, do you guys think there's a chance he even is linked to the Diamondbacks when he becomes a free agent, or do you think it's mainly like LA teams or?
No, that's wishful thinking.
Yeah, I wish, but I doubt it.
he's gonna. I mean, think about it. You're gonna pay him to play 2 spots, so you're paying 2 players basically. So I mean, he's gonna get like upwards of $500 million.
Legendary contract. That's gonna be insane. Brendan, what are your thoughts on the D-backs, like what they're building, and do you think they really have a shot in this year's playoffs? And if not, maybe down the line.
Down the line, for sure, they have a ton of great prospects that they've been calling up or will be calling up within the next couple months or year or so. I think they need to make some more trades at the deadline and be some of the more aggressive buyers at the deadline to get some more relievers, get some more help off the bench. But I think they've been doing just fine so far, and I think they will be able to make the playoffs. And with their offense right now, they could be able to make some noise, I feel like.
Yeah, Brendan, you mentioned at the trade deadline they should look at some pitching. So I gotta ask, because the last few weeks, the last few games for the pitching staff has been, they had a lot of quality starts. Tommy Henry has come into his own. Ryan Nelson just went Zach Davies, went 7 shutout innings against the Tampa Bay Rays, which was the best team in baseball right now. And then you had Ryan Nelson had a really good start against the Giants, I believe. Yeah. So, do you think that back end of the rotation, do you think that's going to hold, or do you still think that maybe they should get another guy that can hold down the fort?
Yeah, I really like what they've shown the last couple of weeks. I think that rotation could hold, maybe add one more guy to the end of it. I just think the relievers, I should have said that earlier, the relievers is where they need a little bit of work with. They've had a lot of save opportunities that they've blown lately where they could have extended their division lead to maybe 5 games or so by now. But the starting pitching, it's looked really great so far, and hopefully they continue to rise as the season goes on.
Got about a minute and a half here, Brendan. I wanted to ask also, the Suns have made some moves recently, man. They got Bradley Beal. They got these rotation players to join them as well, like Watanabe and Chime Metsu. What are your thoughts on the Suns' additions so far, and where do you think they would stand in the West?
It's a better bench than I expected, honestly. I didn't think with the cap space they had they'd be able to sign that many guys, and it seems like it'll be a somewhat decent bench right now, and I think it's going to be between them and Denver, probably.
Them in Denver. It's going to be a very exciting NBA season. Brendan, I want to thank you again for joining us on here in the last few minutes of our show, and looking forward to seeing what you're going to come up with, man.
For sure. Have a good one.
Yeah, thank you. All right, Connor. Yeah, it's been a great show so far.
Good one, yeah.
Again, like I said earlier in the show, big shoes to fill with Vince. Hopefully he's been listening in and out. Hopefully he's having a good time up there in Connecticut, I think he said, right?
Yeah, Connecticut.
So, whatever they have doing up there, I'm not sure what's in Connecticut, but shout out to Vince. And
let's do it all again next week, right?
Yeah, right. Next week you're gonna be leading the charge, man. I'll be here, and we'll repeat just like today. And I just want to say thank you to our summer broadcast team, including Kelsey Reggett from Texas Southern University, Connor Ackley here with me from Coronado High School, Brendan Sodell and Kenji Ito from Arizona State, Walter Cronkite School. And be sure to check out our archived content on Twitter at Varsity Show. Thank you to our guests, all of our guests, Cullis, Coach Cullis, Coach Hatchcock, that's who it was. I'm sorry about that. Desert Vista Big Man of the Week, Isaiah Packer, Brittany Boyer, and that was our guest. Be sure to check out our content. Join us next week here on Saturday, 8 a.m. AM 1060 KDUS Arizona at Varsity Sports Show. My name is Austin Apollo with ASU Cronkite. Go Varsity.
Thank you for listening to the Varsity Sports Show, where our mission is to empower education and enable dreams, creating an unmatched platform to showcase talent both in front of and behind the microphone in radio, television, podcast, and live streaming. The Varsity Sports Show, still your home for youth, high school, college, and you in Arizona and beyond.
Broadcasting from the Superbook Sports Studios, KTUS AM 1060 Tempe, Phoenix, and KSLX HD2 Scottsdale, Phoenix.